Hello, this is Zach Rohde, and I'm here to lead you into the relationship of your dreams using instinctual polarity and masculine and feminine communication. And today we're going to be talking about what is a very big issue for many single women today, where they're not being claimed, either because they're not attracting really masculine men who they want to be claimed by. That's a problem. But also, when they do meet a man that they like, they're not getting claimed by him. That sucks. It's an unfortunate, unpleasant experience to have, especially when it starts happening multiple times. Now, here's something that's really interesting. If you look on social media today, there is so much talk in podcasts and the red pill community, all that stuff. There's so much talk about these masculinized, disrespectful boss babe women, entitled women, gold diggers, all of this stuff, that men don't like, right? That men are not attracted to, and obviously that's a problem, right? Women who are very much in their masculine energy. It's very clear to anyone who knows anything about polarity why men would not be attracted to that and would not want to claim those kind of women. But in my experience, my personal experience, having dated many hundreds and hundreds of women, that's not what I have seen out there. Now, of course, I've been married for 8 years, so maybe it's a little bit different today, but I don't think so. I don't think it's that different. Most women, when they're on a date with a man who's even somewhat masculine, who knows how to lead the conversation and the dynamic, and she feels that energy, she's going to be at least somewhat feminine, right? Like in my experience, I didn't come across a whole bunch of really disrespectful women. I didn't come across women that were entitled to, me paying for things. I didn't come across women who wouldn't just follow my lead. Like, women are naturally wired that way. Even in Western countries, even in Toronto, which is, one of the most liberalized, brainwashed cities in Canada, and coldest, like women who are supposedly like some of the coldest women. The dates that I went on, women were, friendly. They would easily follow me. They were respectful. That just wasn't the problems that I keep hearing about by men are just not the experiences that I dealt with. And I think that most of my audience, my female audience, would say, yeah, like that's for the most part how I show up on dates. Right? You're not showing up on a date as an entitled gold digger. You're showing up respectfully. You're following a man's lead. You're trying to be open, but then you're not getting claimed. You're not getting claimed by the men who you like. So why is that? What is going on? Well, lucky for you, ladies, because I have quite a lot of experience with this. It's not just conceptual information here. I am telling you from dating many, many women, I know why men are not claiming those kind of women. Of all the dates I've gone on, there's really only been a few where I felt that strong desire where it's like, ooh, I could see this woman as a girlfriend. This is someone that I would actually want to keep seeing rather than it just being a sexual relationship or a one-time sexual relationship or anything like that, which, by the way, I don't promote or think is healthy for either men or women anymore. And so what is it? What is it that women are doing wrong? It ultimately boils down, like there's a few things, but it ultimately boils down to self-worth. Okay. You are always doing things or not doing things that are reflecting how you feel about yourself internally. One of the most common things that women will be doing, in my experience, is not being fully radically honest with what's going on internally. Okay. Now, and the few women that are honest about it are typically doing it in a, more with judgments, more in a masculine way. And in my experience, having all my dating experience, I never actually met a woman who came even close to communicating fully authentically and fully in the way that I teach, the way that I teach women on my masterclass and in my academy program and everywhere that I teach in my books. They're hiding. Women are hiding. It's the number one thing. It's the number one thing that is communicating a lack of self-worth. And it doesn't mean that they're not sharing stuff. It's just they're not sharing the stuff that's really important. The most important thing is their feelings. And when I'm talking about feelings, I'm talking about feelings towards anything, right? Feelings about how they, like whatever the conversation is about, just being completely honest about it. Because what happens is, like this can be a subtle or not so subtle people-pleasing tendency. If you care about a man's approval or his disapproval in any way, his reactions in any way, then you'll be afraid of fully being your honest self, right? You'll be afraid of his rejection. You'll be afraid of his judgment. You'll be afraid of saying something wrong. And so you water yourself down. You water yourself down. And that will be especially true when it comes to feelings about him, both good and bad. Like feelings of attraction for him, and then feelings of, if you feel anxious about something, you feel angry about something that he's doing, or mildly irritated, or you're feeling shame, or whatever it is. Women tend to not share that stuff. And that is communicating a huge lack of self-worth. Huge lack of self-worth. Because ultimately this comes down to needs, right? A woman needs certain things to thrive, whether that's in a relationship or on a date. And so many women are conditioned to suppress their needs, to think that their needs are less important or not important, maybe focusing on the man's needs, downplaying your needs so that, the man isn't burdened by your needs, so that he'll like you, because if he was burdened by your needs, he's not going to want to be with you anymore. And the exact opposite is actually true, right? Communicating your needs ideally in a feminine way, in a vulnerable way, that's what communicates your self-worth. That's what communicates that you matter. That's what communicates that you are worthy of provision, of devotion, of care. And if a man doesn't feel that, then he's not going to be inspired to want to care for you, lead you, and claim you in a relationship, right? A way to think about this, this is just coming to me now. If you're like, I'm just coming up with this. So imagine a man is like a miner, like he's mining for gold, diamonds, whatever. What is he going to want to mine? The most valuable thing possible. So, we're told it's diamonds, but actually diamonds are kind of worthless. They're just, I won't get into that. So say it's like gold, and let's say it's gold. That's what a man really wants. Gold, silver is great too. Ideally not tin and copper and everything. You want to be gold to a man, because when a man finds gold, he's going to be like, oh my God, yeah, I want to refine this, and I want to, keep this safe and protect it. And I want to bring it home, and it's going to be mine forever. Gold. I love gold. So when you communicate that you are truly worthy of a man's care and of being claimed, And there's so many subtle, like I said, subtle and not so subtle ways that you can do that. He's going to want to take you home. And I don't mean sexually. I mean, yes, that as well, but more importantly, taking you to as his, like claiming you as his because he sees your value. And if you're communicating that properly, that's how he will see you. But women are typically not communicating themselves that way. They're communicating that they're tin, copper, or a bag of rocks that aren't worth anything. Why is a man going to want to spend his time and energy taking that home and claiming that as his? He doesn't care. You are worth what you believe you're worth. Deep down on the deepest levels. Now, I don't mean consciously. It's, oh yeah, I believe that I'm worth everything. That's nice. But are your behaviors actually reflecting that? Is your communication actually reflecting that? Okay. And if you do what most women do, in my experience, which is, yeah, you'll respect a man, you'll follow a man, you'll show up for a man on a date and all of that stuff, which is fantastic. But then you're not fully communicating your needs and your feelings, your problems, asking for what you want, asking for what you desire, asking for what you need, all in a very feminine way. He's not going to be able to feel your self-worth. He's not going to see you as gold. He's not going to want to keep you. Okay. And this goes beyond, understand this also goes beyond communication. Like the thing that we do, that I do in my academy program and also display on our masterclass where we do role plays for men and women, showing this communication. We focus on the communication as a tool. It's more than a tool, but it is the most powerful, useful tool for over time for a woman to shift more and more into her self-worth. So you can imagine if a woman doesn't share her feelings at all, or very little, or she communicates them, but they're actually communicated in the wrong way. She's actually subtly judging. She's not communicating her self-worth. But then when you start learning how to communicate, and, as a basic example, like saying, may I share what I'm feeling? And he's like, sure. And you share, I feel anxious, maybe because of something that he's done. And you let him lead to understand what's going on. You're communicating self-worth in that moment. And the more that you do that, the more that you move through the fear and the discomfort of doing that, the more that your self-worth starts to come online. And then the more that he actually becomes attracted to you. Now, is he attracted to you because of because you're saying certain things? I mean, to a small extent, yes, but to a much bigger extent, what he's really attracted to is the shift in your self-worth, which the communication is just telling him, like he's feeling the self-worth through your communication. But it's the self-worth that really matters. Okay. I'm trying to think if I should share this or if this should be for another video. Probably I'll save that one for another video. Yeah, so almost every woman's getting this wrong. They're holding themselves back. They are not communicating self-worth, and then they wonder why they're not able to either find a masculine man or why the men that they like are not claiming them. Yeah, so this is a perfect example. Thank you for commenting, AM or AM. I have such a hard time believing a man would actually want to meet my needs and boundaries. Okay, so first of all, just to clarify, I don't use the word boundaries for a woman because there's a masculine energy to that. Now, that doesn't mean a woman is a doormat. We definitely don't promote that in any kind of way. But it's needs, right? Like your boundaries not being violated, like a man not taking advantage of you, that would be a need, right? So I use the words needs, the word needs instead of boundaries. And yeah, so you have a hard time that a man would actually want to meet your needs. So why would that happen? Well, typically, what after having many conversations with our academy students, typically what is going on is in childhood, you were given an imprinting by your parents, father or mother or both, that your needs didn't matter. And there's many ways that could have been imprinted into you, like they shut you down when you tried sharing your feelings, or sharing what you needed or asking for what you needed. You got angry at you, didn't anticipate your needs, all kinds of ways that can be communicated to a woman. But that becomes her imprinting. That becomes her deep belief that why would a man want to meet my needs and boundaries or my needs? Well, because my parents didn't. So what your parents basically communicated to you is you're not worthy of your needs being met. That is the deep belief that's been programmed into you. My needs are not worthy, I am not worthy of my needs being met by anybody, by a man, by the person who's supposed to be taking care of you, which, in childhood, that's your parents. And then when you're older, it should be a man who wants to take care of you, right? Who wants to provide for you and protect you and keep your, create boundaries for you to keep you safe, and keep boundaries for himself to keep you safe, your heart safe, and all of that. And so now that deep belief is going to be sabotaging your love life over and over again through your behaviors and your communication. Okay, unconsciously. Maybe sometimes consciously, but typically very unconsciously, in all kinds of different ways. And men are picking up on it. Men can feel that. And that's not your fault. Like, that sucks that happened to you, and that it happens to so many women and men in a different way, right? When they're little boys, you're innocent in that, 100% innocent in that. But now, as an adult, and especially as you become more conscious of what's actually going on, why you're not getting the results that you want, why you don't have a dominant man who is totally devoted to you and wants to claim you and be in a relationship with you and just cherish you for the rest of your life. You're not getting those kind of responses from men. And now you have to take responsibility for something that wasn't your fault, that happened in childhood. So I'm just going to close my Facebook here. By shifting your patterns, by shifting those communication patterns, because you can't just will yourself into believing, oh, I'm worthy, right? You can't just look in the mirror, do 100 affirmations every day, and now men are going to treat you totally different. If only it was that easy. Maybe that'll help a little bit, but the much harder work is shifting those patterns. And to shift those patterns, that requires moving through a lot of fear, a lot of discomfort, a lot of shame, guilt, embarrassment, self-directed anger, all kinds of unpleasant feelings that you really don't want to feel. But that's the wounding. That's the wounding that has to be felt. Where are all these Facebook things coming from? Yeah. And as you do that, this is what we see in our academy program. Women who just have, for the single women that are in our program, who just started out not being able to be claimed by a masculine man. They're attracting weak emasculated men, and the men that they are interested in, like the more masculine men, they're not interested. Just over and over again, that painful experience. And by making these shifts and practicing this communication, practicing these shifts, feeling the feelings, guess what happens? Guess what eventually happens? They get claimed by first of all, they start attracting much more masculine men. That's a big success in itself. And then eventually you get claimed by one of those really masculine men that woman is really attracted to. That shifts. It shifts because she shifted the communication, and she shifted because of that, started shifting the beliefs. Now, if you have not like if you're watching this and you have not attended one of our master classes yet, where we show you these shifts and we demonstrate these shifts for you in our role plays, and we answer questions about these shifts for your specific situation about why you were stuck, whether you're single or in a relationship, or maybe in a situationship, whatever, doesn't matter. It's time to attend one of those master classes, because that is going to blow your mind wide open to what is possible for you, why you were stuck, and how to get unstuck. In an incredibly informative 2-hour period. PolarityMasterclass.com. We got one coming up on the 27th of April. Don't miss it. Don't wait another month to get this stuff handled, to start making these shifts, to start understanding exactly how you need to shift. PolarityMasterclass.com. I will see you there. We're going to have a fantastic time. That's it for this one.